Thank you. This is a meeting of the Milton Zoning Board of Appeals in connection with the 40B application involving the properties at 648 to 652 Canton Avenue in Milton. This is a public meeting tonight for further consideration and deliberation with respect to a decision. We closed the public hearing several weeks ago and are now in the final stages of preparing a decision, which we have to file with the town clerk by Monday. So I guess that's where we are. And we have been through a number of iterations with the assistance of Judy Barrett. And we've been dealing with trying to come up with a comprehensive set of conditions in the event that we would vote to approve it. And that sort of segues into something I think we need to do sooner rather than later, which is to take an actual vote on whether we approve this project. I think we're at that stage where we have to fish or cut bait, as they used to say. I, for one, have great reservations about this, but I will vote in favor of the project, subject to the many conditions, most of which we've already addressed in various drafts of the decision. And I feel comfortable with that those conditions, when we finalize them, will protect the town and the neighborhood as best we can, consistent with the law under Chapter 40B. So that's my position with respect to the application. Ted?
Well, I have, also as we've talked about, serious reservations. I wish the project had a lot less units, or a lot less massive and dense. On the other hand, as we have discussed, if it is denied and the denial is overturned by the housing board, then we've lost our chance to put in some conditions that we think would be needed, or at least have a shot at conditions that we think would be needed to help protect the neighbors in that event. And so, and also based upon, I guess, prior history as to how incredibly difficult it is to uphold a denial of a comprehensive permit. I'll reluctantly agree to grant the permit. So we're still discussing the conditions, and we want to make sure we get them right.
Okay, and Ted, thank you. I think we're a long way toward getting them right, but I guess our job tonight is to try and get all the way to getting them right. Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I vote to approve the project. My concern is for the residents of the town, for the residents of the neighborhood, and for the immediate abutters. And in my mind, this project is way too big, way too dense, too many units, dodgy water issues, all the things we've talked about. But the best way to, in my mind, to protect the town's residents is to approve it with conditions. I think the conditions we've discussed are very reasonable. I think they address the evidence in the record. And if we can work through those and finalize them tonight, I think we're going to be in a good place. So my vote is yes to approve the application.
Okay. Well, with that vote behind us, then let's turn to the decision, and in particular this one, I guess, the conditions. How should we go at this? What's the best way to go at this, do you think?
Well, I'd like to just say real quick, Mr. Chair, I think we should make every effort possible, since we're meeting here early tonight, to finish this tonight, because Judy's going to have to take whatever we do tonight and finalize it. And then I think we're going to have to approve whatever draft she comes back to us with during our last hearing, which is scheduled for Thursday. And I think if we don't finish this tonight, we're not leaving any room at all.
I agree. I don't think it's a good program for us to be coming back here on Thursday night to continue to discuss the merits of various conditions. I think we need to fish a cut bait tonight, come to closure on them, give Judy direction, and then be reviewing probably in advance of the hearing, I'm sure, a final version of a decision that we can actually vote on Thursday night and sign. I think that's the only way we can do this. So I agree. I think that's the best approach, and we should take whatever time we need to take tonight to do that.
So are we going to go through all of the sections of it tonight? I mean, I think there are some facts that still need to be added. I spent some time thinking about them and making notes today, but since we just got the decision, and Judy was kind of leaving it to us to the facts, which I totally understand, given the week she had last week, but I didn't realize that. And so if we want to add facts to it to try to support the conditions, I think that's important. And I'll get them out as soon as I can tomorrow, but I don't have them tonight. I have notes on them.
Okay, well.
I mean, it basically involves the three issues and the tremendous conflict in opinions of experts on the groundwater and the tremendous amount of fill proposed to be brought onto the property, as well as other materials, and the construction traffic potential nightmares and other construction management issues that those two conditions raise. And I think we kind of have to get into that, but unless you guys feel differently,
No, Ted, if you think you can turn something around in the morning, I mean, I'm happy to take whatever time you need to.
I'll do my best.
Afternoon. And then, I mean, ideally we'll get, at a minimum, I'd like to get a final version of a decision, including whatever fact findings we want to include, to Judy in sufficient time that she can turn it around and give us a final product sometime on Thursday, so that we can look at it and then hopefully vote on it and sign it Thursday night. I mean, that has to be our objective.
Okay, we have to do the waiver request too tonight. We haven't voted on it.
Let's get to it then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, do you want to go as we did during the last hearing? Just to catch you guys up, and I'll say this for the record too, we worked on the document at the last hearing. I circulated it to Judy and to the other board members the following day. Ted returned some additional comments to that document, which Judy took and incorporated into a document and added some of her own things. I then took that, added some of my own comments, and then I also added some of the fact background that Ted sent me this afternoon. So I have a document here that incorporates, I think, what everybody has given to me. We probably all have our own thoughts about things to add tonight, but I think what I have here is pretty current.
Okay, so you're going to put it up on the screen, Mike, and we'll work from that?
Yep. Crystal, can you give me, oh, I have it. Never mind. Okay, can you see a Word document?
I can?
Yes.
Okay. So this is it. This is the draft full permit as drafted by Judy, and Ted, in red, you'll see these are the things that I think you sent around today. So, I mean, do we want to go paragraph by paragraph here?
I think that's what we have to do. I mean, some of it we can breeze through, but I think we should at least read it and agree on it.
Okay. The first two, well, I mean, how do you want to proceed?
I mean, if you have comments, go ahead.
No, I just want to say that the third and fourth paragraphs are ones that Judy had in there, but they were later in the procedural history, and I just moved them up
Okay,
to talk about the revised project.
That's fine with me.
great. I mean, I didn't have any comments to any of these.
Yeah, we're through the first page.
We need, yeah, we're going to need to fill in in paragraph 5 there. Well, you'll need to take out my question marks at the very top.
Right, but Judy can do that. I mean, this is
And
just for-
enter the dates. Yeah, okay.
Right.
The paragraph 7, the 2 places I put according to the applicant, is that okay, or is that?
Yeah,
It's fine.
Okay. And again, I think we have all of the consultants for the parties. But I could go back and check one more time. Did anybody else think of anybody that's not mentioned in those paragraphs 8, 9, and I guess it's 11?
I think you got them all. I tried to come up with other names, but I think you got them all.
I'm just reading through it quickly. For a second. Hang on. No, I think I'm good with this.
And then the objections and concerns raised by the neighborhood. Actually, we could put at the beginning at the top where it says abutters to the property. I suppose we could put abutters and neighbors of the property or something, or abutters and other neighbors of the property.
Yeah, I think it can be. Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine, Mike.
You guys okay with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So I mean, my recollection is that the neighbors and butters had many concerns other than just the 6 that are listed here. So, I mean, could we say including but not limited to the following?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. That's why I changed several to numerous.
Yeah. Here are those paragraphs that were moved up.
Yeah, I didn't have any comments on those, the second and third sections. I guess they were,
I mean, they're largely boilerplate.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know whether it's necessary to put in there. I was trying to give a little perspective to Winter Valley, but I didn't have time to look up the number of units or the acreage. My memory is it was something like 30 acres or something, but I can look it up. Or we don't have to have that in there if you don't think it's necessary.
You know what, given the time constraints we're under, let's just take it out.
That's what I say too. It doesn't really add anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually that abuts a portion of, what did I have there? I was gonna, the language there. Connection to Bird, it's just connection to Birchwood Road from where is it? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on paragraph 38. The applicant proposes a secondary gated emergency access connection to Mergewood Road and then from, take out up to
Where are we? 38?
28.
38, the second line. Yeah, take
28.
out starting there up to the word of, I'm sorry. From, and then put in the word from. And then take out a private road which abuts A. And then take out the A and substitute the, oh, I'm sorry, from, no, leaving the A, from a portion of the 650 or from the 652 Canton Avenue property.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, Brian, you sent something today. Have you read 28?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And that then leads eventually to the condition that I had suggested.
Well, are you okay with this though?
I think it is critical.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking me?
Well, it says it must be decided by a court.
Oh, no, it can't
Yeah.
be decided by a court. It can't be. Where does it say that?
It says right here.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not, I don't think that works then. That's why I had suggested the title insurance angle. I mean,
Well,
that could be years.
So
I mean,
what if
I
we
have
just-
cases in the land court right now that are no more complicated than this. And I've been there for 3 or 4 years, and that's not even with appeals.
yeah, I
You
mean,
can't, I don't know how we can say to these guys, you have to file a lawsuit for a declaratory judgment and name
Well,
everybody.
the title insurance, I mean, you know as well as I do, if somebody doesn't think they can cover it, you can go to another company and get it covered. I mean, it's not, that doesn't necessarily dispose of an issue if there's if there is a good faith dispute. I don't know that title insurance, who would be the insured?
It would be the owner.
The
Owner of the
owner,
property.
the owner presumably already got title insurance when they bought the property.
I
We
don't know.
don't know what
I
it
don't know.
says.
I don't know whether the town insurance covered merge with.
But that's the problem I see with title insurance is how does that give the abutters of Mergewood or some of whom own an interest in it, I guess. How does it give them a say in it? If the owner can, I mean, theoretically, can go to more than one title insurance company and find one that, will affirmatively insure over it.
Is this the way it works? I mean, if the neighbors want to make a claim in a court that the owners don't have access to Mergewood, and it's determined by a court that they don't indeed have access to Mergewood, then the title insurance would be available to reimburse the abutters, right?
Will be, it'd be available to reimburse the insured,
Right.
which would be the owner. So it'd be a big pull for a title insurance company to issue a policy here. I don't know.
Well, you see what I'm saying? I mean, I see what you're saying. I definitely. But it is I mean, it has been an issue. And I don't know. Yours is just, I think what you were proposing was title insurance, ensuring that it could be used for emergency access.
Right. That's what the language says.
Right. And that's Mergewood as it is currently constructed. Right.
Do they have any plans to do anything to Mergewood? I don't know if they have a right.
No, I don't know, but there's been some argument in there that Mergewood is actually, or there's like a 50-foot right of way or something that whatever is paved is part of. So, and when I think on some of the plans, it looks like when they show Mergewood, it's, wider than what it is currently paved at now.
What's currently on the ground?
Excuse me?
Ted, I don't care about that part of it. If you want to add language to that effect, that's fine.
So you're saying that if the neighbors wanted to stop it, they could bring a lawsuit.
Of course. They could have done that anytime during this process. And I was surprised that they didn't, frankly.
Well, they didn't know whether it was going to be allowed or denied.
Right, no, I understand. But yes, they could certainly bring, whoever has standing to bring it could bring that action. I don't know who owns Mergewood. I don't know who owns the fee to Mergewood. I don't think it's this developer. But people, I'm sure, who have standing could bring a lawsuit if they wanted to, seeking a declaration that they don't have a right to use it for any purpose, including emergency access.
All right. I'm not crazy about the title insurance idea, to be honest, but because I don't think it. What do you think, Mike?
I mean, I see what you're saying, Ted, but I agree with Brian that you can't force the developer to go get a judgment from a court. I mean, it's not feasible. And that condition would be struck down so fast as to render it, useless. I think that in the absence of any other ideas, I think it's a good one. And I would expect that there will be a lawsuit filed over this, and I think we just have to kind of go with it.
So take out what you have highlighted. All right.
I mean, this doesn't.
I'd rather see a court determine it, but I see what you're saying, I guess. There's no way to get an expedited hearing in land court.
And there is sometimes, but I mean, you can't guarantee it. I mean, we've got tons of cases over there.
Okay.
I mean, I, like Mike said, I frankly had thought the neighborhood would have brought a lawsuit, and they still can if people aren't happy with the protection that's afforded by a title policy. And parenthetically, that I don't think it's going to be as easy to get that title policy as you might think, but I mean, I have my own thoughts on the title issue that I'm going to keep to myself, but I think it might be difficult.
Mhm.
And if they show up with a title policy, then, and the neighbors see that, then, you know, they can bring a lawsuit if they want to and seek an injunction.
Okay.
I just think that to condition it in that way is in some ways almost tantamount to a denial.
Mhm.
Because I just know how long it takes. And, you know, you're talking about being the appeals court at least 18 months. You know, it's just, it's a
Right.
slow process. It's faster than it used to be, but it's still a very slow process in the land court.
All right.
Ted, I agree with you. It's a tough call. I mean, it's a tough issue, and I really agonized over it. And I thought that was I sort of thought that was the sort of the middle resolution to it. You know, I don't think it's perfect, but I think that condition would be struck down if we did it the way you suggested.
Okay. The rest of
Where
it,
are we now?
yeah, and additional facts, I will do my best to get you something in the morning. And if I don't, if you guys want to go ahead, then, you know, but I'll do my best. I started
All right.
working on it. I just ran out of time.
Ted, I appreciate that. That's great. If you can do that, that's wonderful. All right.
Conditions. So this is an example of me perhaps overreaching. You know, it may be redundant, but I added this in kind of to demonstrate that, you know, in the event that the applicant cannot meet all the other conditions in this permit while maintaining the 116 units, then they should reduce the number of units.
Let me just read this to myself. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a it's a condition that could be stricken or modified, I guess, right? If somebody objected to it.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if the practical impact of the conditions is that we reduce significantly the number of units, they're going to appeal that anyway. So I don't have any problem with that.
Good.
I mean, it's a little redundant because if, you know, if they can't meet the other conditions without, you know, and then they always have the option to build less than 116, but
Right.
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah. Okay, so at some point, we're gonna take out the footnotes though, right?
Yeah,
don't
I've
have to
taken
do
this
it
one
now.
out. I'm going to take
Okay.
them out now, you
Okay.
know, as we go through here. Except this one, I think. Let's just take it out. Hold on. I don't know where footnote 2 is.
It's in 9, I think.
Yeah, it's in the fourth
Yeah.
line, the end of the fourth line of 9.
Gotcha. So, okay, I'm okay with that. Should this footnote come out or should it stay in? Or should we add something?
I don't think we need the footnote, Mike.
No, I don't think so either.
I think the affordability stuff is pretty boilerplate.
It is. What are we missing there?
Oh, you know what? Construction of any building structure systems, other improvements. I would take out beginning after the word improvement on the fourth line on and then the line and et cetera, and just leave comma any of the foregoing a construction activity.
That's fine, done.
So I think for this one, this was one that I put the Tim question mark in there because I didn't know if this was a question for Tim Zerwinski about who the appropriate person would be. Or can we make that decision?
No, that's a good question. Is Tim out there, Crystal?
Oh, you're not.
No, Tim is not here.
Okay.
Election day is a big day around here.
Oh, that's
I
right.
can make-
Election day.
Yeah, it's election day. I can make, do you want me to make a note of it and ask him?
I think so. That's why I put the note in here.
Why
and I
don't, why don't we
figured
just,
Judy will
why don't we just have him, Mike, why don't we just have him give it to all of them?
Okay.
Because it's not calling for them to do anything in the language. It's not as if we're saying, so give it to each of them.
The building inspector, the director of public works, and the town engineer.
And the town engineer.
Okay. Did you change D?
I did.
Yeah, that's a good change.
Let me just read that. Oh, yeah, that's good.
So somebody had made this suggestion, Ted, it may have been you, to merge H with B.
Where are we
Uh,
now, Mike? Where are we? H?
We're on H.
With B, okay, I don't remember that, but. Oh, because it's, they both refer to a stormwater pollution prevention plan. Yeah. I forgot about that. When I was going through this, my eyes skipped right over it.
So I'm gonna at least make it C for now.
What's the question about it, Mike?
So the question,
Oh.
so now it's B and C, and the question
Right,
is,
I see
are they
that.
the same, or should they be combined, or can they be trimmed?
It's duplicative to a certain extent, Brian, because, you
Yeah,
know,
no, I
B-
see it. Yeah, I see it.
yeah.
I didn't see it until you put them together.
Uh,
So why don't we,
Well, you could put there, you could add, yeah, you could say the final stormwater pollution prevention, the final SWPPP shall conform with the approved plans and address the control of, and do it that way. In other words, just make it part of B. Take out the B. Well, yeah, you can make it in beginning of B, building inspector, director of public works, and town engineer. And then, like I said, so start after facilities at the end of what is currently B. start a new sentence and say the final SWPPP shall conform with the approved plans, and then just carry on down, starting with the third line and see, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So now it,
And just change the tense and whatever.
whoa, wait a second. So this looks a little funny because it's in track changes, but it should read the final SWPPP shall conform with the approved plans
And shall, and address, and shall address, I guess.
shall address the control of runoff and sediment during construction.
Yes, WPP shall detail. Construction shall include location.
Yeah, I think all that's good.
Yeah, the rest of it works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Fix the numbering here. So our numbering is going to be all off now.
Yeah, the letters, yeah.
Yeah. I'll just make a note of that. And there's a footnote here that I think we need to remove.
Yeah, 3.
Right here.
Yeah.
All right. So hold on, let me get rid of this footnote. So letter I here, I added based on a comment that Brian made at the end of our last hearing, when Brian had some handwritten comments written down and read them off. I made note of them and added this one here to address that. The comment was, can we add a condition that requires all deliveries to be made by not going through the center of town, but by instead going towards the highways. And so I think this was my attempt to do that. It's a little clunky.
Mhm. Yeah. Maybe tough to do. I guess unless you're coming off 128 or something.
Could we say instead, the applicant shall make every effort to avoid the center of the town of Milton, including those two intersections?
I guess. What do you think about that as a condition, Brian?
Brian, you're muted.
Can't hear you. You're muted.
Brian, you're muted.
All right,
There you go.
I'm back. I'm sorry. I didn't think I hit anything, but so what's the idea that it will say?
Well, I'm just thinking there aren't, there's Canton Avenue is a 2-lane road, and so you'd have to come from it. You'd have to come to the site then and go from the site down towards Blue Hill Avenue. And
Right.
I guess, you know.
So
can come up-
then the people
What?
down there are gonna be mad because we ship all the trucks that way.
Well, yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's,
Yeah, I mean, essentially, you're gonna have trucks taking Unkwitty Road up past Houghton's Pond or Canton Avenue up towards the Blue Hills, or Blue Hill Avenue towards Mattapan. Those are the three other access
Right.
roads, right?
right. Yeah,
I mean, does this idea, this concept fall within the other condition that we have that requires the applicant to submit a traffic management plan and go over it with the police chief?
I think that's right, Mike. That's what I was just thinking of. And I feel like the professional should decide this issue.
yeah. We haven't come to that one yet, have we?
I
No, we
don't think
haven't.
so.
No, okay.
I mean, I'd like to have a condition that says no delivery trucks shall go down my road past my house.
All right, we can come back to that, Mike, after we look at the what it says about the police chief.
All right, I'm gonna take it out for now. Ted, I have this noted here as proposed by you. I can't remember when or how.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I may have gotten that from another decision too.
I mean, I don't have any problem with it.
Is it comprehensive enough? Do we need to say in any other information required by some person from the town or whatever? Any other information requested by the, who would it be?
Department of Public Works.
Director of Public Works? Or the building inspector?
Yeah, the building inspector doesn't really deal with street stuff.
Well, this is, because this is on the site. This isn't traffic.
What are we looking at? K?
So no, we're looking at J.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we had dropped down there.
Yeah.
Why don't we just add?
That's fine. Certainly can't hurt.
Okay.
Have we moved to K? Is that where we are now?
I feel like the construction management plan is big in my mind, and I feel like this is a small paragraph. I feel like we're kind of limiting. I mean, can we add something at the end that says, and all other things that are
Yeah.
normally in construction management plans or as requested by the.
All other information or whatever as may be requested by building commissioner or the department or the Director of Public Works or something.
That's fine.
Shall include any and all other information, or so shall also include any and all other information. Does it also? Yeah.
I think that's okay. And if they don't do that, then they don't get the approval that's referenced in the first sentence. Right? So,
All right, so K is the traffic one.
It says, I mean, yeah, it's okay. The police details, is that at the entrance or wherever, I guess wherever the police chief wants them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No seat. Sure, just a second. Could you scroll back up for a second?
Sorry,
That's okay.
Brian, you're muted. There you go.
yeah, I'm off now.
Submit the board with final approval from the social. Update to it. Okay, so it says submit final plans and supporting analysis demonstrating compliance with all conditions of this approval. Is it what by this approval? Do we mean the
Means
comprehensive
this.
permit or okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
it means the approval in B.
Okay. So it should say that final approval. Okay. I mean, is that the only thing we need to mention, the stormwater management standards? So we're not talking about the conditions. I mean, they have to demonstrate compliance with all conditions of the comprehensive permit too, right?
Is that what we're referring to in D?
Well, I thought Mike said we're referring to the evidence of final approval from the subsidizing agency. In
No,
B.
maybe not. Maybe that's different then.
What's afterwards in E? Is there anything about?
Yeah.
Is there anything about all conditions of the comprehensive permit?
Nope.
Well, it said this approval, so maybe it does mean,
Yeah. I mean,
maybe
it
it
has
should
to
be
be-
comprehensive permit. So should conditions be capitalized? Do we capitalize that somewhere where it refers to everything or?
Yeah, we have been, not always, but
Okay. As well as seems kind of odd to just have that in there. Is there, because isn't there a separate condition requiring that they comply with that, or
Yes, there is.
should it say,
Okay.
instead of and, should it say including without limitation? Well, I don't mean in here, Mike. I think somewhere else it require,
yeah, there's a whole section dealing with water.
yeah. So
Ted, I think we could deal with your problem just by taking out as well as and putting in including.
including without limitation.
I think we could say
Or
without
including.
limitation, including.
Yeah.
You really sound like a lawyer when you do that, but that's okay.
I don't know whether I'll take that as a compliment or not. Obtain written confirmation.
These all came from some other decision, Mike, didn't they?
Yeah. Yes.
Bonafide estimate of cost of restorative landscaping. Did that come from another, or did that come from us? Q.
That came from Judy.
Okay. All right. Who does that go to?
And the town engineer.
And Director of Public Works. That's, I don't know. Huh. Pertaining to this. Submit to building inspector. Portions of the as-built plan pertains. And certification. Does that make sense? Submit to the buildings portions of the as-built plans pertaining to the certified stormwater management system. And what, a certification by the peer review engineer? Or is it a peer review hydrologist, or does it, how have we been referring to that person? Or hydrogeologist?
Hydrogeologist. I mean, is a hydrogeologist an engineer? I mean, I think that encompasses
Yeah,
that.
I think it
well, we
does.
want
too.
we want him to get a hydrogeologist, right?
Yeah, I think that's addressed elsewhere.
Okay. Mhm. Do we, okay, we're okay with A being able to deposit security.
I think so, Ted.
All right.
This came from Judy as well, I think.
Okay.
What does this mean?
Which,
Applicable law.
Where are you, Mike? In H?
I'm sorry, I'm in F.
it's defined,
It's defined up top.
it's defined in the conditions, at the beginning of the conditions, I think. Yeah.
So it actually
Yeah.
comes, so the
8.1. Project shall be bound by all applicable local, federal, and state laws and regulations with respect to comprehensive permits issued under GL Chapter 40B, Sections 2023, except as may be waived pursuant to this decision.
right, okay, that's why I'm asking, because this, in H, it comes up because I believe that there's a waiver request about some of these issues. So we should just make sure these coincide with whatever we decide on the waivers.
Well, they asked to have, you mean certain portions of the town regulations relating to 40Bs?
Yeah,
Yeah, to the extent that they're inconsistent with state law or exceed the requirements of state law or something.
I just mean like if they're asking for a waiver of, trash removal bylaws in the town, we should just make sure it matches up with whatever these conditions say.
Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe it shouldn't be waived. I don't know.
well, yeah, that's kind of where I'm going.
Hmm.
But I think we can, when we open up the waiver requests after this and go through those, we can jump back to this and make sure they match.
Okay.
I added this here. So this is project design and construction. So this is the details of the construction management plan. One of the requirements is a trucking plan, and it's going to be approved by the Milton DPW and the Milton Chief of Police. I added the planned schedule of truck trips to the contents of this trucking plan.
I think that's a good addition.
Is there anything else that we want to add? And we've got planned truck routes, volumes, number.
I don't know, do we need to put anything about the size and kinds of trucks to be used, or?
I think if we do that, I mean, if we tell the applicant they can't use the big tractor trailers, they're gonna, I mean,
Well-
that's a pretty good argument that it's become uneconomic, don't you think?
Well, no, this is just, yeah, but this is just saying that that's got to be in the trucking plan, right?
Right.
That's-
okay.
It's,
Yep.
you're not limiting it to any kinds of trucks.
Yep, that makes sense.
So that they know what to expect and what, you know.
That's fine.
So we've asked the applicant to post a bond for road repairs, and the town shall establish the amount of the bond,
Where does that say that, Mike?
right? So at the end here, and the town shall establish the amount of the bond to be posted.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I think you can take out where it says or revised project and just put. Jay, look okay? Is that comprehensive
Yeah.
enough?
I think it is.
I think so. This is kind of a callback to that previous condition.
Right.
But it doesn't conflict. I think it's good.
I think it's just the additive. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Is it construction shall be in accordance with all applicable laws? I mean, is that? If applicable laws just relate to chapter 40B laws, or laws applicable to chapter 40B, is that?
I think there are other regulations, state regulations that would be applicable, don't you think? I mean, 40B preempts the town bylaws, but it doesn't
Right.
preempt any
It
other.
doesn't deal with state law.
Right.
Is that
but
the,
I'm-
is
I
refresh
was
my
talking
memory.
about the definition of applicable laws at the beginning.
Is that a defined term, Ted, somewhere? I
Yeah,
forget.
it's in 8.1. 8.1. It's the first section of the conditions.
Okay.
A,
Eight, did you say?
right here,
Okay.
8.1.
Maybe the way it's being used in here, that needs to be broader.
All applicable local, federal, state laws and regulations with respect to comprehensive permits.
Yeah.
So. So where are we?
I think you just went past them, Mike. It's D2, isn't it?
Right. So it does need to be broader.
Yeah, I think it does. Trying to find. Well, it was taken from. It was taken from 582 Bluehill Avenue, I think. Uh, hmm. Well, what do you think? Do we need a broader definition? We can try to come up with one and circulate it in the morning if we can find.
All applicable laws as defined herein, as well as any other state, federal, or local laws governing
Well,
construction.
Yeah. Well, but don't we need to broaden the definition because we use applicable laws throughout the thing capitalized, right?
Well, I mean, we're going to go through and
Yeah, but I don't,
No, I mean in 8.1 where it defines applicable laws, can't we just broaden?
I think it's,
Or not?
well, I think we have to go and look at each instance where it says applicable laws and make sure that they all need to be broadened, right? It could be that it's used, it's appropriately narrow in some of these
Right.
conditions. So
we'll go back to what you were putting in there, Mike.
where are we? D2, sorry. I mean, what is this paragraph saying? Construction needs to be legal? I mean, like, it needs to apply, it needs to be in accordance with all laws, right? It can't.
Yeah. You know, like D4 down below has excavated materials should be removed from the site and disposed of in accordance with applicable law. Capitalized, you know, I mean, there's.
Yeah, I agree. That's not correct there.
Right.
And
So
we're
that,
not going to waive that requirement for the town, right?
no, I don't think so. But that's why I'm. I don't know. That's why I'm thinking it might be easier to expand the definition of applicable law, but. Something with another definition.
So I'm just going to go to the top and see how many instances, how many times applicable. So applicable laws only occurs. How is that possible? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so like in this section, it's talking about affordability, and I think that applicable law is used correctly because it's referring to chapter 40B. But when we're talking about construction regulations, I don't think it's used correctly, and it's kind of misapplied there.
Right, I agree.
So do we need to go through this whole thing and change each?
Um,
So this one is correct.
well, what do we do when we find one that's not correct?
We add to it or change it.
So Mike, you don't think we can just go back and change the definition?
No, because like, for example, in this one, the defined term applicable law makes sense. I think it's defined there for a reason. I mean, I get, well, let me ask you this. How would you change the definition?
I'm not sure. I'm just trying to.
I was trying to find a copy of another decision to see if it was, but that's the way it's defined in 582 Canton Avenue.
It is. We didn't make that up.
Yeah.
Well, this particular instance is the first time it's kind of jumped out at us as being a problem, right?
It might only be a problem, and I mean, I've gone through 8 of them, and so far, we haven't had any problems. And there are only
Yeah.
10 left, so
Really?
And so where the definition doesn't work, we can just say applicable law and any other laws, or whatever, I mean, whatever the precise words are, right?
that's what I think.
Because I don't think we can really change the definition of applicable law, because I think it could mess the whole thing up if we did.
Yeah.
So this one, I think, is also correctly used. But I'd like to hear your opinions.
Okay, so where are we? Oh, okay. Final plan shall consist of information required to prove compliance with the conditions of this decision. Well, you can say this decision, comma, applicable law and any other, I mean, I think if there's some of the decisions I'm looking at now don't have the term defined.
Well, that's another fix that we haven't discussed, is we just don't define it and make the A and the L lowercase.
Well,
I mean, we could easily add here, comma, and all other laws.
of this decision, comma, applicable law and all other laws, statutes and regulations or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, but
Applicable laws.
like if we're gonna have the condition that started this is the condition that everything on this project be done in accordance with all the laws, right? And so I don't think we need to modify this one, right? Because if they're complying with the conditions of this decision, they will already have complied with all laws.
Right.
Well, I don't know, is that kind of circular? I mean, this is the one that's saying that they're gonna, this is one of the provisions that's saying that it's gonna apply with, or comply with, rather.
It's going to comply with the conditions of this decision, and
But one of the conditions of this decision is that it comply with applicable law.
but also all other laws. We're going to put that in there.
Oh, as a separate condition?
Yeah.
Okay, if we put it in as a separate condition, that should work.
Well, no, I mean, I don't, the language that we're going to add just says all applicable laws as well as all other state, federal, and local laws that might be applicable.
Okay.
Right.
As long as we're covered.
Mike, can we go back to the definition that we used?
8.1, right there.
Why do we need that definition?
We need some definition if, unless we want to change.
Okay, then we have to change every. Yeah,
What do you mean,
I don't
change
know.
every what?
you'd have to go back through it every,
And what, just change it to lowercase?
We could just add another condition saying that the project, in addition to applicable laws capitalized, project shall also be bound by, all other applicable local, federal, and state laws and regulations applicable to the project or something. All federal, state, and local laws and regulations applicable to the project or any aspect thereof. Something like that, I don't know. You'd add a sentence in this one. In addition to applicable laws as defined above, the project shall also be bound by, I don't know.
Project shall be bound by all applicable local, federal, and state laws and regulations, including those with respect to comprehensive permits issued under Chapter 40B, except as may be waived pursuant to this decision.
I think
Collectively.
that's a good fix.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
The applicant shall not take any action or fail to take any action that would cause this project not to meet the provisions of do we need to say, or any other applicable laws, or is that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Guys, okay with that?
I'm
I
okay
think,
with it.
yeah, I think that's a good fix.
Okay.
So now we
this
can leave
now-
it as is, right, Mike?
Right.
All right. Let's go back to where we were.
Yeah, this was, I never did get to look at I think you still have a blurb there.
Right.
The town website doesn't have chapter 26. I think I tried to look it up online and I couldn't find a copy of it either.
Yeah, no, I tried too, and I couldn't find one.
I mean, I'd hate to cite something without knowing what it says, you know?
Judy said she would check on that. So maybe she still can. I think there's an updated copy that is not on the website that she probably has. So let's
Yeah.
just leave the note here.
Okay.
We can ask her about it.
What was the balloon next to 5?
Confirm with John Reardon that 60 days is appropriate.
Oh, okay. Shall be sourced locally whenever possible. Did you add that, Mike?
I did, and the only reason I added it is because it was called for, that's what it said in the draft construction management plan submitted by the applicant. You know, I don't know what kind of materials they're going to be able to source from the town of Milton. But there was a reason it was in the construction management plan that they submitted. So I
Yeah.
don't know, what do you guys think?
Well, if it's in there, then they shouldn't object to it. Right?
Okay. This number 7, Brian, is something that you mentioned at the end of our last hearing.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I just want to.
Right.
Okay, so what about these footnotes here?
These are just citations that I think can be removed. So I think we need to have further discussion and, and then revisit this one.
Which one, Mike?
E8, the road safety audit. The question we had was the timing of short-term improvements around the certificate of occupancy. I mean, do we know enough to comment on timing? Or should we say, you know, in coordination with the Director of Public Works?
I don't know, does that leave it too open? I mean, it is something we want to make sure it gets done. Because it's one of the, you know, one of the only 2 things that was recommended by the.
Well, who's doing this road safety audit? The town?
I thought it was the town, but
I don't, it's the first time it's ever
Well,
mentioned.
I thought
Said.
it was, no, I thought it was the applicant.
The applicant. So if it's the applicant and they're going to make the improvements, which is sounding familiar, my hesitation about making them or requiring them to make these improvements before a certain period is that, you know, they may want to do it sometime in the next 3 years, but it's not convenient for the town for them to do it in the next
Right.
3 years, right? And so we don't want to disrupt the public works schedule just because these guys have a condition. So we could say prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy or as otherwise coordinated with the Public Works Department.
Yeah, it's, it should probably say that it's to be done at applicant's expense, right? And it's gonna be done by applicant. I'm pretty sure that's the case, you know. Although the Vanessa and Associates traffic report uses the exact language that we have in that condition, doesn't, you know.
Yeah, so this was a condition recommended by Jeff Dirk.
Right.
All right, so here, but I think this solves this, right? So completed by the applicant and at applicant's expense prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the project, subject to receipt of all necessary rights, permits, and approvals. So, you know, if the Public Works Department doesn't approve these improvements at the time that the applicant wants to do them, then that's okay. Because approvals here presumably means by town officials, right? Or state officials or.
So what happens if they build this project and toward the end of it, they want to go out and do these improvements and they can't? Because the town won't let them.
Town will let them?
So now they've got a fully built project and they can't get a certificate of occupancy for it.
Well, here's it, yeah.
Well, that,
I don't know.
that's why you have the subject to language.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to.
Here's going back to the February 26th one, just for the, I mean, this is, I guess, says the RSA and resulting, yeah, should be completed prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the project. Yeah, that's the language that's been used. So if they don't.
I'm sorry,
I don't
Tim, you used where in prior drafts?
No, it was used in the peer review report last February by Vanessa and Associates.
Okay.
So in terms of timing, that's a good question. I mean, I don't know why the town would not let them do it. I mean,
Yeah, I agree, Ted. I agree. It's
but
why would the
I
town?
can see why it's
Why would the town want a fully constructed project that no one can live in after going through the hell of the construction period? when the applicant, all they want to do is make some improvements to a difficult intersection. It's hard to imagine why that would be the case.
So, yeah, well, this is what the town's peer review consultant is was recommending, should be completed prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy of the project, subject to the receipt of all necessary rights, permits, and approvals.
Okay,
I don't know. I mean, I assume this was sent to. I mean, are we allowed? Would we be permitted at some point to waive a condition, the board? If, I mean, you issue the condition and it's recorded, but subsequent to it, are any of the conditions waivable? If a situation like that would arise or something, I don't know.
I don't have a definitive answer to that then. Off the top of my head, I would assume that would be the case, but if we're the ones that impose the conditions, I don't know why we couldn't waive them in the future if circumstances changed. Well, I don't think we have any choice but to leave it like it is.
That's what the peer review consultant recommended.
Okay.
And there's no evidence in the record of anybody contradicting that, so.
No. Well, I mean, what it does is it puts the onus, and I'm not saying this is unfair, it puts the onus on the owner to, as he's getting to the point where he's finishing the project, to get humping with the town and make sure they improve, let him go forward with his improvements. I mean, this is a hurdle that they know they have to meet. Okay.
I suppose this is a condition that it could also be modified or whatever, or objected to or whatever, if it turned out,
Yes.
Anyway. Okay. Okay, the next one, E9, is the other recommendation that was made by Vanass and Associates. Excuse me. Sorry.
I mean, I don't have any issues with any of these.
No.
Fire department.
Okay. Was there anything about, we haven't gotten anything about an emergency access or anything, right? No,
No.
okay. Yeah, the G1, G2, and G3 were the ones that I think the hydrologist from Tetra Tech recommended.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think G4 was too.
Yeah, it was from Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
was.
have no, I have no problem with that. I think it looks good.
Yeah, same.
uh,
Where did G5 come from?
Town engineer.
Okay.
So I think G7 is the same as G1, G2, and G3, isn't it?
Yep.
It is.
Do we need the language? Wait a second. Wait. Does G1, G2, and G3 have this language at the very beginning that said the stormwater management design shall provide for additional offset?
Nope.
Okay, so
What if we just took out G1, G2, and G3 and
renumbered them?
just use the other one, which I think is more comprehensive. Does that make sense, Mike?
Yeah,
They are exactly the same, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
they are. Yeah, except G7 has this kind of introduction.
okay.
Right.
So is that gonna be G6 now?
No, because we're taking 3
Oh,
out.
no, you were taking 3 out, yeah.
Right. So G1, G2. So this is G3. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's
So
G4.
now it's
right?
G4.
Okay, that's a good change. Good catch. And you can take out that note, Mike.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
The footnote. Hmm.
Oh yeah.
And there's another footnote too, right?
Yep, 13.
Yeah, what's the balloon on the right? Do you,
Oh yeah, good call. At the end of the project, so it says, do we need to require a bond for this and for other requirements? I mean, I don't know. I don't really see that. Hi, Judy.
I,
hey, Judy.
I forgot that you were starting at 5.
That's okay. We've been
Then,
waiting
then
here
you're
quietly.
early. Then you're 15 minutes early.
Sorry.
Judy, we've made a lot of progress through all of the conditions
Yeah,
and made quite a few changes. So I think, and I think they're improvements.
Okay, good, good.
yeah. Thank you so much for your, your heroic effort yesterday and getting us a more complete decision.
It's okay, it's fine. Sorry I couldn't get it to you sooner.
No, well, you had your good reasons.
Hmm,
Hope you're feeling better.
A little bit, yeah.
Good.
The first day I've been back in the office.
Yeah. Okay, so
I mean, I don't know.
G7 bond or what do you think?
For this one, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't think they need to.
Okay. Conditions required. You know what, in the third line of G11, I think maybe should be a period after DEP.
You're right.
Okay. What's the footnote? 14.
Where's that?
Oh, there, is it at the bottom of the?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
It indicates that this was proposed by Denny Swenson.
Oh, okay. And what's the balloon on 13?
So all street lighting showing, it says, the balloon says, is this actually shown on the plans? And so we had a question, I think,
yeah.
about whether the lighting on the plans actually showed all this.
Yeah, I don't know that it was shown on the plans.
Would you just put a period after site?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really add anything.
Okay, 15 is, oh, that's Denny Swenson too.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there's a note in the footnote that says, please compare G14 with G13. The latter being language that has been standard in other permits. The lighting condition needs to be consistent. So I think it's actually these. I guess these two.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Whether that's inconsistent, whether 13 is that consistent with International Dark Sky Association standards.
How about we for G13, we finish it by saying, and the project site, comma, subject to the standards of the International Dark Sky Association.
Okay.
That's fine. I don't, just parenthetically, Ted, I don't think that's inconsistent with those, but this is a good solution.
Outdoor light should be placed in Milton. Do we have to say the same thing in G15? Guess maybe we do.
Okay.
It's 5 days, 5 business days enough time?
Where are we, Ted?
G16 at the beginning?
Well, it's no less than, right?
Right.
I mean, I would feel better with 10 days.
All right, fine.
And business days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Or even
Yeah,
7?
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Should we say prior to commencement of construction activities?
In G17?
Yeah.
You mean for everything, or for posting the bond, or just for the whole provision?
Yeah, I mean, I think that everything. I mean, my concern is that the first 2 sentences occur before commencement of construction.
Okay, so we can say, prior to commencement of construction, the applicants will survey all trees within 20 feet of each property line, and a certified arborist shall prepare. Okay.
All right, so this is an interesting one, G18.
Okay, stormwater runoff or negative impact on town waterways. So this is just on damage to town waterways.
No, so they're independent. So with any 1, increase in groundwater or stormwater runoff, or 2, negative impact on town waterways. It's actually 3, I guess.
Costs associated with any increase. So how do you, I just don't know. Including costs associated with any resulting damage. Any increase. Or should say, clarify any negative impact on town waterways. Just add the word any.
So this is just related to the town, Mike?
No, so, I mean, increasing groundwater, so costs associated with increasing groundwater, costs associated with stormwater, increase in stormwater runoff, or costs associated with a negative impact on town waterways.
So it's
And so if I'm a neighbor and I have damages associated with this increase in groundwater, can I look to this bond?
That's the theory. I mean, I think the neighbor would have to prove that whatever damage occurred to their property was the result of an increase caused by this project. But that would be the reason for the bond.
Would we be better to say for economic loss rather than costs?
Yeah.
with any increase in, that means what, groundwater levels or groundwater? Is that what you
That's
mean?
fine. Yeah, I
No,
think that's
loss.
what we mean.
How about economic loss associated with damage caused by any increase in groundwater levels?
Right,
or-
that's fine.
Yeah.
Stormwater, groundwater levels, comma, stormwater runoff or negative impact. So this is any increase at any level?
Any increase at any level that causes damage,
Right, that causes economic loss.
that causes economic loss.
Okay. Okay,
So my question is, can this also include, say that this project hypothetically causes some damage to the Pine Tree Brook, right? And that requires the town to remediate and has to hire engineers and all sorts of stuff. That's one of the, bad results that I'm trying to incorporate here. Does this cover that?
uh,
Because there was a concern raised by the neighbors of the neighbors experts that Pine Tree Brook could be affected, as well as the town's MS4 permit as a result of that. And I don't know what that involves as far as the town goes and what their obligations would become if a development in the town was jeopardizing their MS4 permit.
The town waterways would pick it up, wouldn't we?
I'm gonna say town brooks, streams, or other waterways. I mean, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
I just
whatever.
mean, I just mean in terms of the costs associated with resulting damage mitigation or remediation efforts. I guess that's all included.
Okay.
But is
That's
this,
a tough-
is this sufficiently clear that it applies to private owners as well as the town? That's my only concern here.
I don't think it is.
It just seems to be a town provision.
Economic loss to the town or any, I don't know, you say any person or homeowner or whatever, I don't know.
Should it be two separate conditions? Probably not.
No,
Economic loss.
what if we said economic loss associated, no, it's associated. And then after runoff, what if we said including, instead of or, what if we said including, comma, but not limited to, comma, any negative impact on town waterways?
How about including but not limited to any negative impact on personal property and or town waterways?
Oh, private property. Let me just read this.
Well, Tim is on now.
Okay.
That's it. I don't know.
You don't like it, Ted?
No, it's just, I don't know how you come up with a,
Bond amount?
yeah, when, and it doesn't say when the bond is to be posted. I don't know. Do we need to say that? Does it have to be before commencement of construction activities? Or? Because one of the concerns that I have and have had, and I can't remember whether it's covered in here or not, but is like during construction. So you have these infiltration systems. How long does it take to get to that point when you have it there? But there's a period of time where you're just bringing in all this fill and other things are going on, which might increase runoff, but you don't have the infiltration systems yet. And that, you know, that could be a period of time when damage could occur too.
Or even after the infiltration systems are in, but there's no plant life or any other measures on the property that would absorb some of that impact.
Right.
But doesn't G18 capture that though?
Yeah, we either talked about or I was thinking about, I mean, there ought to be something there. Some kind of a plan to, you know, manage stormwater, you know, during construction. If that's not already in there.
I think it's already in there, Ted, but I have to go back and look.
Oh,
Yeah. I remember there being something in that section about that.
okay.
As shown on the approved plans.
I guess
Well,
so.
Ted, where are we, Mike? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, G19.
Yeah, okay.
That's it. Would it either be approved plans or final plans?
I guess final plans.
Yeah, final is better.
Is this something you put in last time, Mike? It is, isn't it?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
And then this G20 is the requirement for the hydrogeologist for the town.
I think that looks fine to me.
And then G21 refers to the still outstanding question as to whether or not that stream is intermittent
Right.
or
Yeah,
perennial.
I was thinking about that today too.
Yeah.
Project.
What's the vehicle for getting that?
Well, it's not just on the project site. I don't think that stream is on the project site, right? It's off the project site. So the question is, if it's perennial, it's, you know, the distance is 100 feet. And if it's intermittent, it's 25, right? So it's so it wouldn't just be any streams on the project site or on any abutting properties or whatever. Because you see that, you know, from from the walk that we did of the site, there was that stream that was across, it was on the other side of Mergewood Road, right?
Yep. So on or adjacent to the project site?
Any streams on
Yeah.
Or-
Is it adjacent to, or is it,
In the area,
so on, let me just see what it says there. On the project site or abutting properties. I don't know if you want to limit it to just abutting.
how about on the project site or within? I'm trying to say within the area that's subject to the Conservation Commission's jurisdiction, but we don't know if, right?
Yeah.
Depends on the stream.
Don't we really, our concern though is that that they're on abutting properties, isn't it?
Right.
So right now it says determine any, yeah.
well, you could say on the project site or
Yeah,
adjacent. Well, I don't know, the ones that cross Mergewood Road might not necessarily be adjacent properties.
they're not, and they're probably not abutting either, right?
About streams within 100 feet of the project site. Right?
Any streams, okay. On the project site or within 100 feet of any boundary of the project site. Let's call it.
Okay. I think we capitalize construction activities, right? Didn't we define that?
Yep.
Okay. Everybody okay with that?
Where are we now?
H, completion of infrastructure. H1. We're getting there.
So I'm sorry, I'm trying to read this shit.
So,
Which one are you looking at, Ted?
well, I was looking at the first one in light of
Yeah.
what Brian sent today.
I mean, I think that we should have a condition that says the applicant shall possess the right to use Mergewood Drive for emergency access purposes. I don't think we can say it shall be determined.
So what are we gonna say? I mean,
this harkens back to what we talked about earlier, right?
Right. So this is what I suggest. The applicant shall possess the right to use Mergewood Drive for emergency access purposes. Legal access to Mergewood Drive for emergency vehicles is a condition of this permit.
But how does that jive with what we did earlier, which was basically force them to get a title insurance policy?
Well, we haven't done that yet.
Okay,
That went into that was the facts, the findings of fact. So
We
this
say-
is where we would do that.
The applicant shall possess the right to use, what do you call this? To use Mergewood Drive as a secondary emergency access, is that what it's called? Legal access over Mergewood Road for emergency vehicles is a condition of this comprehensive permit. But is Brian's proposed condition in here under
Yeah.
I2? Yeah,
So so
when you say the applicant shall, that, you mean that it's a condition to this, that the applicant shall possess the right to use Mergewood Road for emergency access, right?
right, I mean, right, exactly. So the applicant believes they have access, and so, you know, if whether or not they want to get a determination from a judge, that's up to them. But they've maintained since the beginning that they do have access.
Mhm.
If it's determined if it's determined at some point that they don't, then that violates a condition of the permit.
Right.
okay.
Legal
So-
access to Mergewood, okay. So can we say the applicant shall possess the right to use merge? Legal access to use Mergewood Road for emergency vehicles is a condition of this comprehensive permit.
Yeah,
I don't
Talking
even know
about-
if you need that, but
1.1, what?
do we need that second sentence?
it's the same. It's really duplicative.
Okay,
So
Sure.
then I2,
do we need to say something more than just the right? I mean, do we need to say legal right or, I don't know.
I don't think it matters to.
I2
Or the
is just
applicant
so we-
the applicant shall establish that it possesses the, because you're gonna say.
But that's taking us back, that's taking us back to where we were. I think.
No,
it's just-
you're, okay, all right. You were saying they can establish it by a title insurance policy.
No, they don't establish it by a title insurance policy. They just have somebody that says that if they don't, they'll pay them some money. Doesn't
Yeah,
establish anything.
the title insurance policy isn't a vehicle for establishing the right of
It's
access.
it's not.
It's a vehicle for providing some
Yeah,
recourse.
okay.
to, you
Right.
know,
All right,
I actually like the second sentence better than the first, but I don't know, you guys can.
So legal access to Mergewood Road for emergency vehicles is a condition of this permit.
well, it's gotta be satisfactory to the fire.
Right,
department.
I'm happy, yeah.
So you like the second sentence?
Yeah,
Okay. Legal
So
access.
can we,
Okay.
yeah. To use Mergewood Road for emergency vehicles?
Okay,
Is it Mergewood Road or Mergewood Drive?
I think it's road.
Okay.
Okay, why do we have that next one in there?
Just to limit any use or potential use of Mergewood Road to emergency access only. Duplicative?
No, I'm just wondering if we just should say the applicant shall not use Mergewood Road for any purpose other than emergency access.
Yeah, use or perform any work. I mean, we were gonna, or install any utilities or anything, right?
Um, what if we just said, okay, why don't we just, you guys skip going away from this?
Yeah, sorry.
The
No,
applicant shall not use Mergewood Road for any purpose other than emergency access, period. The applicant shall make no new sentence, that the applicant shall make no improvements or alterations to Mergewood Road. So the first sentence, Mike, is just going to say the applicant shall not use Mergewood Road for any purpose other than emergency access.
It says the applicant shall not use Mergewood Road for any purpose other than emergency access.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think that captures it. And you know, if anyone wants to challenge their right to use it, they can do so.
okay, so the next one just goes out.
Well, hold on. If we're gonna do this title insurance condition, then I think it goes here.
Okay, Les.
No?
I'm just not
Yeah.
sure we even need that anymore. No, well, I guess
Huh?
I guess we do.
I mean, you were saying that before that it was a condition that they, provide a title insurance policy ensuring that, right?
Yes, yes.
I don't have I can pull out the language. Did you put it in there, Mike?
No, I haven't put anything in yet.
No, I mean earlier today.
No. So
Do you have the Brian's language in front of you? Mike?
I haven't, was there language circulated? I didn't see any.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think-
he put it-
I think
he
I
put
did,
it
but there was no magic to it though. I mean, we can just. do it
Okay.
right now.
Well, do you want me to read what you had?
Sure.
Okay. Submit. Well, what he had was the applicant shall submit to the board, the planning director, and the building inspector the title insurance policy, affirmatively ensuring that the owners of 648 and 652 Canton Avenue, I guess it would be, you have owner and then you have a parentheses with an S, of 648 and 652 Canton Avenue, each enjoy the benefit of an appurtenant right to grant access over Mergewood Road for the benefit of emergencies. Okay, sorry.
Benefit of an appurtenant right to,
Grant access over Mergewood Road for the benefit of emergency service providers.
Right.
Does that have to be connected with the requirement that of legal access being a condition to the permit?
no, because this title insurance policy isn't going to be tied to whether or not they actually have access, right? Because it doesn't count as a determination of their legal rights.
No, it does not.
So how do they establish the legal access?
They don't.
They don't.
Okay.
I mean, the applicant would say, I think, that they already have, right?
I don't know how they have, but
Well, I mean, they've submitted a memorandum and case law and all sorts of stuff that I think they hope it demonstrates in their mind that they have access.
right.
But
I'm not, well, whatever. I don't want to get into it, but I've quickly looked at the title documents and I think it's an issue. But the title insurance company will look at it, and if they're right, then they'll issue a policy.
Well, do we need to say in 1.2 legal access? The condition of this permit, the applicant shall not use. Okay, I guess it's all right. Well, all right.
I think 1.4 comes out altogether, right?
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. I guess it does.
Yes.
By the way, on the satisfactory to the fire department, when I was going over some of the things I noticed in one of Attorney Schomer's letters, which dealt with meetings with the fire department about access, that he suggested putting a condition in. Let me just read it to you so before I read it slowly. Prior to occupancy of the project, the primary site driveway and emergency road, Mergewood Road emergency access driveway, it's assuming they have that right of access, shall be field tested prior to the installation of the final finished course of pavement to confirm and ensure proper maneuverability and that vehicle clearance requirements are met. Subject to the review, and he had reasonable approval, I think we could just say approval, of the Milton Fire Department and Milton Department of Public Works. So we should probably put something like that in there so they can field test it.
I think we should put that right in there as is. I think it was perfect.
Where is that? Where does that go?
It's in a January 24th, 2022 letter from Attorney Schomer to the board. On the second page.
All right.
Want me to read
if
it again?
Yeah, but where in this document should it go?
Oh,
Under access? Infrastructure.
yeah, well, I mean, here we're talking about satisfactory to the fire department.
Why don't we, Mike, why don't we just put it right in here?
And access.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems logical to keep all that together.
All right, Ted, I'll do my best if you want to read it again.
Prior to occupancy of the project. I don't know whether you want to put prior to the issuance of the certificate of occupancy or whether prior to occupancy is okay. Comma, after project. The primary site, capital S, driveway and Mergewood Road emergency access driveway.
That's and?
Excuse me?
Did you say the primary site driveway and Mergewood Road?
And Mergewood Road, yeah, emergency access driveway shall be field tested prior to installation of the final finish course of pavement to confirm and ensure proper maneuverability and that vehicle clearance requirements are met, comma, subject to review, and he had reasonable approval. I don't know whether we need reasonable in there. I mean, the fire department's got to be satisfied with it, right?
Right, I agree.
So review and approval of the Milton Fire Department and Milton Department of Public Works. Period.
Good.
Okay. One other thing I forgot to mention, do we need to put anything in there about everybody involved in the design and construction of the infiltration systems or the stormwater management systems on the property have to carry liability insurance?
I mean, I think anybody who does anything on the property should have liability insurance, right?
Yeah. I mean, does that need to be put in as a condition, I guess is the question.
Yeah, I think it can go right in here.
In the general conditions?
Yep. Put it at the bottom just to keep the numbering. Um, Any and all personnel working on the site in any capacity shall carry liability insurance.
What, in amounts reasonably satisfactory to somebody for the town? I don't know. The building inspector or the who?
What if- Maybe we should make it the Board of Appeals.
Oh, the board?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, why throw it off onto the building inspector?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and we're gonna rely heavily on you, Ted, for those numbers.
That's our last condition, gentlemen.
Okay. So now what do we have to do?
The waivers.
Okay. Is that the
Right.
only thing, Ted, that we haven't done?
We're okay with all the water provisions, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna try to get you some additional stuff for the facts tomorrow morning, right?
Yep.
What are the other exhibits? There's, well, the plans, right? The plans are exhibits. Not exhibit A or something. So I think the only other thing we have for tonight, right, is the waivers.
Okay.
Plans are exhibit A. The waivers are exhibit B. And Exhibit C is the provisions to be included in the local regulatory agreement.
And we already have that, right?
Yeah. we
Judy
have
added that or included that? Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay.
So what do we have to do tonight in order to enable Judy to take a hand at? a
We have to
final-
vote, we have to vote on the requested waivers on Exhibit B. We'll go through them and vote on them because, which we haven't done.
Okay,
there were
then
some
I'm not,
things-
I've lost track. I think all I want to do is make sure that we do everything that we can possibly do tonight so that we can tell Judy to prepare a final draft of a decision that she can get to us sometime before Thursday night so that we can vote on a final version. I don't know what the mechanics of this are going to be, whether when we sign it and how we file it with the town clerk, but we can talk about that on Thursday.
Well, Mike, do you have a copy of her, the draft
I do.
waiver she sent? Would you be able to? Because I think there's some things that might not have been what we had talked about before, at least based on my notes.
So this is what I have, and this is what I think that Judy had given us a couple weeks ago, and this is the November 29th revised list of waivers
Right.
that the applicant provided us.
There was one that she sent today.
Oh, hold on a second. I'll pull that up. Hang on. Oh yeah, this is great because it's a Word document.
Okay, yeah, I've got it here on my phone.
Okay. You guys can see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
so the right column is the board decision. So that's where we'll be.
Right. So I think last time we talked about it was just going to be approved as to Canton Avenue. But not Mergewood Road. I mean, why would there need to be a curb cut at Mergewood Road?
Yeah, I agree. We've also included a condition that says that no alterations or improvements will be made on Mergewood Road. Now,
Right,
guess this
I agree. It
technically-
should it only should be approved as the Canton Avenue.
Is that? Well, Mergewood is off Canton Avenue. I don't know. Is that clear
So-
enough?
No, approved as to the site, the project site. driveway.
Primary site driveway from Canton Avenue or something. Okay.
Okay.
The second one, I thought that, the regulations, which would apply to Canton Avenue, applicable to removal of trees and stone walls. And this is a statute that applies to scenic ways, I think. I thought we said we weren't going to do that. We weren't going to waive that one. Well, at our last, I have in my notes from our last time we talked about these. No.
Yeah,
because
I don't
we
know.
didn't want the stone, the stone walls of the trees right along Canton Avenue affected. Right?
I'm just
We
pulling up the
do.
notes here.
I suppose, I don't know, do any of them have to be, does any of it have to be removed for the primary site driveway along Canton Avenue?
I don't know if that,
So I don't know what to say about that, because I think last time we didn't want any stone walls or trees removed. But I guess, as I think about it, maybe for the primary site driveway, it might be necessary. I don't know.
I think it is.
Yeah. Well, it says approval in part, subject to conditions in part. I suppose that would be part 6, would be the conditions that were kept in, not 5. What do you want to say on this? I don't think we want to waive it entirely.
Help if the town bylaws on the website were updated.
Well, you're talking about this particular bylaw?
I am, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this refers to the town bylaw refers to a statute in the general laws.
Ah, okay.
The statute in the general laws refers to state roads and ways. And this just basically adopts the same thing with respect to scenic townways that the statute adopts for scenic state, roads and highways and whatever.
Can I interject something really quick?
Sure you can.
Just because we've had a number of scenic road permits at the planning board recently, so I feel like I'm very, very up to speed on this. It's an interesting thing that our general bylaw does, because Ted, you're right, it refers back to the statute, and then the statute empowers the town to create scenic road regulations, which actually live in the planning board rules and regulations, as opposed to the general bylaws or even the zoning bylaw. So if this was a regular project, subject to chapter 40A, or just a regular kind of, construction project, someone was looking for a driveway permit, they would be required to go to the planning board and hold a public hearing for a scenic road permit. And then the planning board would look at that and they would present their plans, and the planning board could suggest, mitigating measures in terms of planting new trees or renovating the stone wall or whatever. And so, without looking at the plans, I don't have them on my fingertips. I think one way to approach this waiver would be, and with a lot of these waivers, I think what the real ask is, we don't want to go to the planning board for a permit and have another public hearing. But I don't think that it's unreasonable to say, if they've got to cut down trees for the sight lines, they've got to cut down trees for the sight lines. If they're altering stone walls, again, I don't think it's unreasonable to say to sort of, to reuse those stones to kind of rebuild the wall up the driveway or something like that. I think those are things that the planning board does all the time. And I don't think it would be unreasonable to sort of, waive this, but also the take the spirit of, I guess, what we refer to as the performance standards and other regulations of, do the thing that the regulations are asking you to do, just take away the actual requirement to go and get the permit at another board.
So Tim, what you're saying is we can approve this subject to a condition that asks the developer to use the stones for the drive for in other ways and things like that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the trees are a different story. I would have to look and see, like, the other thing about the scenic roads regulations is it's only about trees that are in the town right of way, so they can do
Right.
whatever they want if the stones are on their side or the trees are on their side.
Right.
With something like, taking down a tree for the driveway, taking down a tree to sort of adjust sight lines, that's something that's a little bit more in the weeds for, I think, the second to last deliberation. But I think especially as it relates to the stone walls, I mean, I think just sort of saying like, reuse of the stone walls to create an entrance to the driveway. I don't think that's out of line. If we're looking to, keep with the spirit of these regulations without actually creating an onerous and burdensome kind of, requirement for another permit.
Okay. So, okay, approval in part. With the condition that any stones removed be reused or
Well, we're gonna have to go and put a new condition in the list of conditions.
If you guys want to put a pin in this real quick, I can take a look at the plans very quickly and try to get a judgment as to how relevant this all actually is.
That's what I was gonna ask. I don't
yeah.
recollect any it's actually coming into play.
Yeah, give me a minute and I'll take a look at the plans, and we can, if we can come back to this one, I can have a little bit of clarity in a few minutes.
Okay, want to keep moving?
Yeah, keep moving. We'll come back to this one.
Okay. This is getting into the dimensional and, well, this is use regulation. I mean, we have to approve this, right?
Yes.
For the multifamily, okay. Okay. Signs to be consistent with permit requirements. I don't know whether there is any in there, but. Signs and billboards,
Yeah, I mean,
is that
so
okay?
I don't understand what this is asking for. I mean, why would we waive the town's requirements about the signage? I mean, the zoning bylaw presumably says that you can't have signs that are larger than whatever.
I think, didn't we hear that signs had to be approved usually by the select board? Or maybe by DPW. I think again, they're trying to avoid an approval process.
Right. It's
Right.
a
Yes,
local.
signs are prohibited in the residential zone.
Oh, I
It's
see,
a,
okay.
I'm okay with what we say there.
I've also got the board decision from Blue Hill Ave pulled up
582.
here too,
582.
582.
Yeah, I think this is what it said in that decision.
It is, yep.
Yeah.
And by the way, going back up to the removal of trees and stone walls, that's what it said in that decision as well.
Right.
What, you mean the same thing that it said in this one?
Yeah, it says, wait, exactly. Where is it now? I'm sorry. Well, let's go back to that one.
Okay, yeah, I don't.
Just gonna note that we have to go back to that. Okay. Earth materials removal and fill.
Yeah, I think we didn't, I had on my notes that we didn't want to, or make it, to make that procedural only, but still, it would still be held to the standards, I think, is what I have in my notes from last time, but
Correct. I think that's okay.
so how do we say that?
I mean, I think we say it by just saying approved, right? Which relieves the applicant from having to go through all the permitting procedures.
We don't have to reserve the standards?
I didn't think so, but
What do you mean to reserve the standards?
Well, in other words, they're still held to the standards of that. They have to comply with the standards of that section of the zoning bylaws, but they don't have to go in to the Board of Appeals or whoever and get the formal approval. But if there are standards under it, they're held to the standards. So it doesn't waive it entirely.
So they have to meet the standards. They just don't have to get a special permit.
Right. I thought that's what. Yeah.
I
and that's
don't
all-
remember having discussed this before, but that could just be me.
I mean, I think that they can't meet the standards. I mean, we know that the application, is specifically involving fill and earth removal. They're not going to be able to meet the standards.
No, they can't.
They can't. And so I think we just have to approve this, or it's a denial of the application.
It is. It's tantamount to a denial.
All right. There's got to be some kind of, I don't know.
All right, wetlands.
Again, I have notes in here, keep standards, Conservation Commissioner, DPW. Oh. In my notes.
Right, but there's still, even if we waive this requirement, they're still going to be held to those standards, because we can't waive those.
Can't waive what standards? We can't waive the state standards, but these are the local ones.
Right, we can't waive the Wetlands Protection Act, but we can waive the local wetlands bylaw in Milton.
Oh, right. Oh, if that's what you said, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Um, So do we want to reserve part of this?
I don't know.
I mean, we can't waive the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission, right?
No, I don't think so. Not under the state statutes, but yeah, possibly under the local
under local bylaw.
regulations, yeah. I mean, I would think that that would be a matter for the Conservation Commission, not us, but, you know.
Well, that's why they say at the end, that's why it says it will be permitted under the Wetlands Protection Act.
Right.
Which the Concom has jurisdiction over.
And I think in our conditions, we've said all we can say about wetlands.
I think we have.
And so I think we have to approve this.
I think we have to approve this waiver.
Okay. So height regulations.
Again, I think we have to approve this.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oops.
I think we're going to say that too. I think all of these.
What's this? That's the, okay. I think same here, right?
Yep. What about the one above that one, Mike? What does that say?
That's actually carryover from the previous. page.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Nope, it's all right.
I'm starting to get a little punchy here at this time of night.
Well, the good news is we're
getting there.
getting there.
Yeah, okay.
What's the next one?
Accessory buildings.
Buildings in front yard.
Yep. I think we have to approve that.
Okay.
Buildings in side yards, same thing. Approved. Buildings rear yard, approved. Parking regulations, approved. Enforcement of the bylaw. I think that has to be approved, right?
Well, if we've already agreed to waive the provisions, then there's no reason to retain the enforcement right.
Yeah, here. mean, the building inspector still has certain rights, right? I mean, when they set the limits in their waiver request as to what the height can be. I mean, what if they build it higher than? I guess if they set the limit in there and it's a violation.
Yeah, then it's a building inspector issue. It's an enforcement issue.
Right.
Yeah, I agree, Ted.
All right, but that doesn't have to be said.
No, I mean, that's.
Occupancy certificates approved.
Where are we here? Do we have to put in there that it's subject to the satisfaction of conditions in this comprehensive permit?
I don't think so. Because the permit requires the occupancy certificate, doesn't it?
Right.
All right. What do we do?
I'm good with these, Mike.
Oh, site
Site
plan
plan
approval,
approval.
notice.
Notice requirement, yeah.
Special permits. Okay, so Judy, anticipating our concern about this one, gave us this nice note here.
Yeah, I have a note somewhere about not waiving any standards, but like in the other one.
But we don't waive any standards under the state act, but under the local bylaw, we do. You know, standards is the right words, any requirements.
Same for this one.
Same.
Same.
Yep.
What is that one that you just scroll down with? Wetlands performance standards. Procedural waiver. Oh, no waiver is requested. Wait a second. So she's suggesting there it should just be a procedural waiver.
That is not Judy's. Yeah, that's her language up here.
She's suggesting that that's all that they're seeking as a procedural waiver.
Right.
Okay.
Stormwater.
I'm happy to say approved, subject to review and approval by the town engineer.
Or, yeah,
Well, I'm just looking at the conditions here. And the approvals and the conditions are by the DPW director and the town's consulting hydrogeologist. So do we want to match that?
Sure, match it, Mike. That's great.
demolition delay. Yeah, I guess we can't avoid that.
Nope.
It hurts.
Yeah.
Reminds me of a Joni Mitchell song.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Remember, you take Paradise to put up a parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we proved that.
Yes, I missed the review approval.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Sorry, I'm trying to look at my notes on some of these things and so I'm not seeing what you're doing. For rights of way. Is that, where is that?
Well,
Is that back on the previous page? What did it say on that? The prior
Here you go.
partially approved. Okay, do we have to say anything about it's not approved as to Mergewood? Or is that,
they don't, but they haven't proposed any utilities in Mergewood, are they? They haven't.
I think there's something on a plan showing a tap or something on Mergewood.
We said in our conditions that they can't use Mergewood for those purposes, so
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
A&R stuff is fine.
Yep.
I remember this being an issue. Was there
Yeah,
a
I don't
question
think we
about-
should, I don't think we should be waiving any of those. They are what they are.
That, I mean, that's the, I have expressed that opinion before.
Yeah, or, yeah. So if we're not approving something, what do? Do we just say nothing? Or do we put not approved,
Or denied.
Denied.
denied? Okay.
Okay.
So do we need to say that?
Say something here.
Oh, it's okay. So was Tim going to get back to us about one of them?
Is that the end of it, Mike?
That's the end of it, yeah. So yeah, so this is the one that we were tabling.
Yeah, you guys were on a roll, so I didn't want to interrupt.
Thanks, Tim.
It kind of, it's tough to tell on the plans exactly what the extent of kind of stone wall kind of movage is. So I would just try to put in something simple and general. The intent is we don't want them to just, chuck these stones into a ditch somewhere. So I think, and something the planning board does, when it's not necessarily kind of explicitly related to a scenic road is something like, the stones will be reused on site, in some way. But I think, putting in a condition, that kind of references that waiver and just references the fact that, we want to see those stones, reused as part of the driveway entrance or similar reuse, I think kind of meets the intent of what, we're typically after with these regulations. Sorry, that's the best I can do. It was really kind of tough, kind of zooming in and figuring out exactly what they were proposing.
Thanks for checking into it. I appreciate you doing that.
How about we include a condition in the general conditions section? It would be the last
Excuse me.
one that says all stones on site shall be reused on site. I don't know.
Well, I think what you're trying to get at is if there are stone walls that need to be dismantled to accommodate the driveway entrance, that those stones be reused for driveway entrance entering the site or otherwise reused in a similar fashion on site. There could be a stone wall somewhere else, that they want to kind of put in. That's not atypical to do. Is once you start getting into the site and you're digging up stones or you're sort of looking at stone walls, that's more of a kind of historical commission kind of question. And we've already kind of waived all of that kind of oversight. So this is specifically about the stone walls that are sort of along Canton Ave that would need to
Right.
be removed for the driveway.
And what did you say about the trees, Tim? It's probably unlikely that there are any in the town right of way.
I don't know if it's unlikely or not. I think it's more a matter of, without doing the kind of, quite frankly, detailed and in-depth analysis that the planning board typically does on these things, it's tough to say, which ones are being taken down, which ones are on the town right of way, which ones are on the private right of way. And then the next step is, well, do you want to require some sort of mitigation? So I think it might be too late to have that discussion because you can't really kind of address the issue in the general way that you can address the issue with the stone walls. It's really, you have to understand, all right, you're taking down 3 trees. We want to replace it with 6 trees or something. And we just don't have that at our hands.
Well, it would just be trees again that are for the driveway opening.
Correct.
Off
Yeah.
Canton Avenue, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but you can't have the reuse provision.
I added a condition in here that says in the event that stone walls need to be dismantled, those stones shall be reused on the site for driveway entering the site or a similar use.
That's fine.
Well, do we need to limit the dismantling of any stone walls to the driveway entrance though? What's necessary to create the driveway entrance?
In the conditions?
Well, or here, somewhere.
I don't know if we can limit the dismantling of stone walls without impacting the design of the development.
And I don't actually know that they're proposing anything. I mean, I feel like most of that frontage is kind of untouched except for whatever they need to do to widen the driveway to get the driveway in. So I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
No, I mean, I think saying for the waiver, I think saying approval in part subject to the conditions is enough as long as we have the appropriate conditions. And if we have a condition
Okay.
that says, if stone walls need to be dismantled for any reason, they should be used for the driveway entrance. Is that the concern?
I like that.
So Mike, you'd go back and put that in, and add an additional
Right.
condition?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm okay with that.
Besides the conditions and the waiver, is there anything else we need to accomplish tonight?
So I think in this one that we just did, doesn't it have to say subject to conditions in part 6? I think the conditions are Roman numeral 6, aren't they?
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
So Mike, what are you gonna do? Just generate a new, completely revised draft?
Yes. So I'll send around copies of the redlined documents as well as new final documents
Okay.
to you and Ted and to Judy,
Judy,
and ask Judy to what, to finalize it again and send it back to us.
yeah,
And I'll try to get some things to you guys tomorrow morning.
Okay. Should I wait till Ted does that before circulating anything?
I think you have to. I think we
Yeah.
should, I think we should do a final product.
Ted, I'm a little punchy. What was it that you were gonna? check
Well,
on?
I was going to add some facts about, to try to
That's right.
support these conditions that we have about the
Right,
conflict and the written materials and testimony about the water situation and about the fill and why we need all the protections that we're looking for the neighbors and the butters.
I think you're right.
And it, and I don't know whether we should say that we're that we're uncomfortable with the water situation or not. But maybe that's not an appropriate decision when you're allowing a.
I think the conditions that we're imposing speak volumes about that.
Yeah, they probably do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little self-serving for us to say it explicitly. Well, yeah, Ted, if you can turn those around, by tomorrow morning sometime. I mean, I think the goal is to get something in Judy's hands that we think is sort of final, so that she can generate something that effectively we can look at before Thursday
Okay.
night, so that Thursday night we can vote to approve
Okay.
something and sign it and figure out how we mechanically get it done.
We didn't change the numbering in the statement of facts, did we? I don't think we.
No, I don't think we did. The numbering in certain places is off, and I'll need to change that. Let me see where we are here. Now, the finding of facts goes from numbers 24 through 31.
Okay.
Brian, do you recall what the deadline for filing a decision is?
We have to, because the 30th day falls on the weekend, we have until Monday to file it. But frankly, Tim, I'm a belt and suspenders kind of guy. I'd really like to file it on Friday.
So we just did East Milton last weekend. Similar situation. They were able to vote an approval on a Thursday night. What the building commissioner has told me is that the registry of deeds likes to have one, I'll use the term real signature, and the rest can be electronic, via DocuSign or whatever. I'm sure you've all have signed decisions with DocuSign, for the Board of Appeals. We have that capability for the building department, but we'll want to arrange for one of you to either come by town hall, or we can come to you and get an ink signature on that, and then the rest, over the course of the day, if we can get that done, in the morning, we can get that filed with the town clerk, before town hall closes on Friday.
I'm happy to come by on Friday and sign mine. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, that would be great. And Ted and Mike, if you can just sort of, just monitor your email for the message to do the DocuSign, we can, if we've got the document, we can get it all done. Town hall closes early on Friday, but plenty of time to get that done.
And so Tim, if I come by on Friday and sign it, will you or someone else attend to the filing with the town clerk?
Your clerk, Crystal Rich, very ably handled that on Friday. I assume she did. I didn't hear her otherwise, but I think she did a good job on that. So she'll handle all of that.
Okay.
What time does the town close on Fridays? Noon?
It's 1:30. I want to be all said and done before 1, if it's possible.
Yeah,
I'm just asking.
if we've got the decision done, I mean, I will sign it first thing on Friday morning and be up there when the town hall opens.
Okay.
Okay, I think we have a plan. All right, so Ted, you'll send me what you have. I'll turn everything around, send it to the group. We'll wait to hear from Judy with the final product. We'll meet back here on Thursday to hopefully approve or make any last minute changes. And then Friday morning is signing day.
All righty.
Friday morning, so is everybody gonna come to town hall and sign, just so I know ahead of time, or should I send out a DocuSign for?
Crystal, send out a DocuSign to
Yeah,
Ted
send
and
it
to Mike.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm gonna come by town hall.
okay, so I'll need your signature first, Brian, and then I can set up the DocuSign and send it over, and then I can get it all filed.
I'll be there.
Okay,
Rolling in. What time do you get in on Friday?
8 o'clock.
All right, I'll be there shortly thereafter.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
All right, thank you.
So I'll sign it and then you'll have it and you'll do.
Yes,
You'll
I'll be
get
able to
them
scan it
DocuSign.
in and send it out for the rest of
And
the.
then ideally you'd file it with the town clerk
Mhm.
before close of business on Friday.
Yes, I will.
See you on Friday morning.
Sounds good.
All right, are we done here, guys?
I think so. I mean, right? I mean, there are no other sections that we,
I don't think so, Ted. So
except for
Mike,
the
you can-
facts. Yeah.
you'll fix
I'll
up
do-
everything
yeah.
else and then we'll insert whatever it is that Ted's gonna do in there and
Well,
talk
yeah,
about-
unless you don't like it.
well, we're gonna love it, Ted.
Yeah, right.
All right, good.
All right. Yeah.
We'll see what it is tomorrow morning and then we'll figure that out. But the plan right now is to vote on a final version of this on Thursday night and to have me. Now, how am I gonna get that document though? Well, I guess we'll have it from Judy by that point.
Yeah, so she can send it to me and I'll print the whole thing off, and then there's a signature page on there.
Okay,
For you to
so
come in and
I could actually just come up on Friday morning and just sign what you give me to sign.
Yes, exactly.
All right, that's the easiest way to do it. Simpler with me is better. All right, I think we
Thanks
have
for
a
doing this
plan.
tonight.
All right.
Thank you, guys.